So I was talking to an old goat yesterday, and we got hit with some enlightenment. So I'm sitting there, and I had understood before that the air, it underwrites, right? So there's tech that's underneath your air that has a certain brand of tech to it. It's not coincidence that a certain brand of tech is from the Earth, a good majority of it. Obviously the sun, the moon, the stars play a part in that also. Plus the air that goes in just to begin with, pumped in through the sun and the moon and the stars. But I was talking to this guy, and all of a sudden it hit me. There are 7 wonders of the world. Wonders. Not what you understand as conventional. 1 deer. Wonders. What happens is there are certain areas of the earth that the IT, it grows like this. Now use this is what we use for our universal model, but use this as just as in your world, an area that's condensed with a specific type of IT. Now when the air changes over the course of the next 200 years, what you understand as buildings and brick and mortar, that becomes Play-Doh. The density becomes so hard that can morph and move, and it has a technological log attached to it that makes something. So we're stockpiling the material for that end time, hopefully 200 years from now. What I learned is I knew that the earth was a devil. Because reptilian, devil, reptilian, reptile, reptile, devil, reptile. I knew the earth was the devil because obviously the trees and such, and the trees are the horns. But it gets even smarter than that. That area of the earth that has that condensed air, that has a specific brand of tech and earth tech, what happens is, I haven't yet deciphered if it's instantaneous or if it's over a period of time. Either way, we won't make it because the density gets too strong and we can't live. Gravity becomes really strong. What happens is, out of nowhere, there's a tree. Literally, out of nowhere, there's a tree. A huge, we're talking vast miles of this tree. It's that wide. All right? The air just changes like that. So we all become encased in wood. Like that. Think about that. So if it's sound wave that gives the formation, gives the trajectory of the nano as it's pumped in through the moon, goes around the firmament, the sound waves give the structure. It can be said that once this phenomenon happens, it's a sound wave that gives light to it. The sound waves that gives it its structure. So if you're all of a sudden there, then all of a sudden just encased in bark, it's not coincidence that if God's barking, that's a sound that goes into your world and poof, everything's bark. It's a big horn. It's a big horn sticking out of the earth. Big wooden, earth-like devil's horn. And then I thought about it, I was like, are there other places it's gonna happen? And then I thought, 7 wonders of the world. The deer one. The freaking deer. The devil is the deer. It's a product of your earth. It's a fern of the earth. And we grow horns off of our earth. Because the air in certain areas has a protective boundary around it that has a specific type of tech that's inside of it that heaves through heaven, it heaves through the air. It grows in your air, and then all of a sudden, through a phenomenon, a miracle that God creates, he barks, and that sound waves comes in and gives it form. Think about that. So you got specific places on your earth where you grow a giant tree because the air is underwriting it. And then God barks and everything's encased in bark. God, dog, bark. You get it? I learned that yesterday. Just sitting at the park. Couldn't believe it. Isn't that the most amazing thing you've ever heard? Well, there's other things that are more amazing. I guess I probably, glory to God, deliver that every day. Hope God doesn't bark. So I don't know what to expect. Like, are we talking 1 square mile, 10 square miles, 100 square miles? Like, how big is this? And to be able to sustain the life or the time, it has to be a massive tree that grows. Maybe we can look at the tectonic. No, we can't. There's nothing to do with tectonics because it's all in the air. It's Jake and the Beanstalk. Jack and the Beanstalk. Jacob's Ladder. It's a tree that grows. He's sleeping under a tree. It's not he that sleeps under the tree, it's the tree that sleeps under him. And that's the stairway to heaven. Think about that. The devil's a tool of God. So in time, you'll have 7 wonders of the world. You'll have your earth essentially will have a rack. We'll have a rack like a deer. Because over the course of time, those horns grow. Yeah. Miracles just falling everywhere, man. Understanding this stuff is not easy. Sit there and I'm gonna post a video. I posted a video before that you saw how the inception happens, how the innovation happens. I sit there and they're calling me from outside of your universe and saying, okay, this is what's gonna happen. This is how you got here. This is what you got to do. That's what I do. But you got to witness that process because, in process of understanding, I got to weigh options because of this and this, and then they correct me they call within my neurons. And we get the information. It takes 30 plus years to build up the receptor, the antenna that you need to be able to receive the calls, and as the first immaculate receptive person had the nano in them to begin with, that's something, that's one of my functions. So, just want to leave that little bit of Devillian information for you. The deer won. God barks. Yeah, that's how dense the air is going to be. Think about that. The air is going to be as dense as bark, as dense as wood in a tree. Think about that.